Okay, Chief, whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Although virtually, we still want to acknowledge that we are located on the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississauga and the Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. The Cobourg Police Service respectfully acknowledge the Williams Treaties First Nations that have been stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters, and that today remain vigilant over the health and integrity for generations to come. We are all treaty people. Thank you for joining us today for our joint press conference with Northumberland 89.7 FM. I'm happy to be joined by Executive Director Peter Danukas and journalist Robert Washburn. I'd like to provide you with a bit of background of what led us here today. For the past several months at the Cobourg Police Service, we've been taking a closer look at our media policy, reflecting on the effectiveness of our current practices and how they help us reach our larger goals of community well-being and safety, and ensuring that we remain aligned with best practices in Ontario. Most services are selective as to when, how, and names of accused are released. Based on consultation with other services, a number of services choose to only release names of accused persons for more serious crimes, or when it's in the interest of public safety, investigative purposes, or public interest. Many neighboring services to Cobourg have moved also in this direction. Most recently, Peterborough Police Service making that change in January of this year. While we were reflecting on the practice of releasing our names, we were conducting our strategic plan consultation process. We received compelling community feedback through both survey and localized focus groups during the fall last year that our media procedure could stand some improvement. It came through loud and clear that our community members and our community partners felt that our communication was very enforcement-centric, not nuanced or empathetic, and created an antagonistic situation with private and online conversations. Further, the top two priorities that came out of the consultations were drug, both prevention, support, and enforcement, and mental health, key social issues that impact our community and communities across Ontario. It must be taken into consideration that releasing an accused person's name could have a negative impact on harm reduction efforts by community organization, perpetuate stigma, and cause negative impacts to families and individuals in our community. Online, we were seeing negative discourse towards individuals and families in our community, and when media release would go out, the social media comments were tragic. As of February 2022, we are only releasing the names of accused persons when it is in the interest of public safety, investigative purposes, or public interest, including those major crimes. We continue to release information about all arrests and have a thorough list of when we release names that are outlined in our policy. This change to our policy garnered some interest from the community partners, and local media, both in support of the change and against the change. My role as chief is to lead an organization recognizing that we too need to improve. And there was an opportunity for us to better consult our media partners prior to the press release going out. And I appreciate Rob's commentary early on to have some frank discourse about this. Regardless, it's led us to some great discussions about what changes like this mean for the police, community members, and local media who report on crime and court news, and how this changes the perception of transparency of our service. I was very happy to connect with Rob, always ready to have open and forthright conversations. We were able to reach an understanding of each other's goals and agree that the media and police have a commitment to transparency and continue building trust. With this in mind, we have made the policy available through our website, showing how the decisions are being made regarding when names are released. This is unique in Ontario. We have also provided information outlining how the media and the public file an appeal or complaint through our services website. Furthermore, on an annual basis, we will submit a report to the Cobourg Police Services Board, which is the governance of the police service, outlining the number of instances the names of accused persons were released. We will continue to reflect on internal best practices, examining how our policies and procedures relate to the current community needs and in the social context in real life, and more importantly, more commonly now, online. We look forward to continued discourse on topics of public trust and transparency and the opportunities for us to demonstrate our commitment to continuous improvement for the community that we're honored to serve. Thank you, and I would now turn it over to Executive Director Peter Danukas for some comments.
Thank you so much, Chief Paul. Northumberland 89.7 FM is truly happy to work collaboratively with the Cobourg Police Services Board concerning this important issue. Northumberland 89.7 FM is taking steps, and we've changed our protocols related to the coverage of crimes and to the courts and the way we report it on our website and on our broadcast. And we've created a Trusting News Northumberland project. The Trusting News Northumberland project is aimed at building trust and credibility between the community and the news team at 89.7 FM. This project provides more transparency on how the news team gathers and reports news in the community, and it'll explain best practices and principles. The goal is to improve coverage while engaging the community, as we've done here today. We've engaged the Cobourg Police Services. Recently, when the police announced the recent changes to the police policy on naming the accused, Rob Washburn and I had a conversation. We were at first concerned, then Rob and I talked a lot about it, and we were a lot of back and forth, and then Rob reached out to you, and we were very happy that we could create this atmosphere to form policy. So with that, I don't want to take any more of Rob's thunder, so I'll turn it over to Rob. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, both of you. First, I wish to express my gratitude to Chief Van de Graaff for listening. We had a lively discussion about the new policy, and while we did not agree on everything, I was heard, and I also listened intently, and we see the results today. When I first heard about the new policy, it was deeply concerning. Lord Chief Justice Hewart, who was on the King's Bench in 1923, said, and I'm quoting here, "It is not merely of some importance, but it is of fundamental importance that justice should not only be done, but should manifestly and undoubtedly be seen to be done." Within that statement is a vital principle. The system must be transparent. I believe the steps taken by the Cobourg Police Service on their website are significant. Telling the public about how their naming process works is one aspect. Also, it gives information about how the public and/or news media can appeal or seek further information, plus the pledge to produce an annual report to the Police Service Board providing details about names and naming ensures that there is oversight. But this was not a one-sided conversation. Through the actions of the police service, it caused me to reflect on my own practice and the newsroom at Northumberland 89.7 FM. A year ago, I was one of 2 Canadians to attend a course given by the Trusting News Project, a collaboration between the American Press Institute and the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Over the 2 weeks, we explored ways to reinvigorate trust and credibility in news organizations in the face of plummeting confidence in journalists and the newsroom. It struck me that this was an opportunity to put these principles and practices to work. So again, thank you, Chief, for the inspiration. And that's why we're here today. As of today, Trusting News Northumberland is a hyper-local project building trust and credibility between the community and the news team at 89.7 FM. Through a series of initiatives, the project hopes to provide more transparency regarding how the news team gathers and reports news, as Peter said, but the goal is to improve coverage while engaging the community. I want to give special thanks to Peter Danukas as a volunteer. He was a massive support, giving of his own time to this idea from the start and has helped facilitate this with Northumberland 89.7 FM. It is up to all news media to address the issues of trust. I believe this is a positive first step. I'm particularly pleased to be part of this event today to mark the collaboration, the inspiration, and the dedication of everyone involved. It demonstrates just how committed we are to accountability while serving the community. It is all about trust through transparency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Now we'll open up for questions. If you could, when you have a question, unmute yourself. We'll go one at a time in a round table. manner, unmute yourself, and if you could announce who you are, and if there's an organization attached to you, and if you have it, if you want to direct it to a certain person, identify that person. Thank you.
Not seeing any, Lisa.
If you're having trouble with audio, you're welcome to put it in the chat. I'll just give another 10 extra seconds here to see.
While those 10 seconds are wrapping up, Lisa, I just would finish my comments. I'd hope there would have been a question to allow me to do this, but I've finished my comments today just recognizing how fortunate I am as the Chief of Police for the Cobourg Police Service to lead a group of individuals, both sworn, civilian, and volunteers, in a community that has this level of desire for trust, building relationships, but most importantly, open, frank conversation where divergent interests seem to meet. And it is that foundation that we have that allows us to move from what might be conflict to resolution so quickly and making it a stronger and better place for everybody in Northumberland County. So to Peter and to Robert, that's my personal thank you to you for being open, allowing me to be me, and allowing us to serve our community better.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, and with that, I think we'll wrap. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. I thought it was great, very fruitful conversation. This will be available on our YouTube channel, and I will share it over the Cobourg Police Service socials as well. And if you have